fun.
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, what's up? We're live. Thanks for coming. Just came here. Figured I'd answer a few questions. And we brought the Geek Room on to play a little game. So I figured we'd start out with that. You interested in playing a game, or do you want to wait on that?
I think Brandon's supposed to be in a couple of minutes, so we can wait if you want to just do your thing.
All right, sweet. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we start out with some questions from my Discord?
From your Discord? Okay. The Mighty Dialga asked you, what are some similarities between Mormons and JWs?
Some similarities between Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses. I would say that the primary similarity is the fact that they knock on doors. The thing about those two religions is that the Mormons started in 1830 and were a branch of Christianity, just straight off of Christianity. But Jehovah's Witnesses actually branched off of the Millerite movement, which was in like the 1870s. So they have very different roots from each other. They actually don't have that many similarities aside from the fact that they knock on doors. I mean, that's about it. Even the way they go about knocking on doors is pretty different. So, yeah. Do you guys want to talk about something from the chat? What do we got going on in the chat?
Someone said they can't hear, but I'm double checking that because no one else said it.
I can also...
Everything seems to be going all right. I can hear the stream.
I could also hear the stream.
I think it's because we're here.
Yep, I hear it in double.
And we had the audio issues, so
right? Yeah.
Yeah, they can hear us.
Okay. Yeah, maybe check your headphones, but
yep.
Anyway, all right. Do you have anything of interest, or do we want to move on to a question from the channel?
We don't really have any questions coming in yet. People just love you.
Really? Okay. Well, let's hear some of them. I'm interested.
Oh, he wants his ego stroked. Stop
a little
him.
bit. Look, a little bit. That's all.
Love you guys. Great work.
Oh no.
Activate the settings so people can add captions to your videos.
Okay, I'll think about that.
Do you have Instagram?
Oh, there's a question.
yeah, I see it.
Do I have Instagram was the question?
That's one of them.
Okay, go on.
Do you think atheism will rise as time passes?
Okay, that is an interesting question. Yeah, I do. I think that I forget what the exact numbers are. I feel like it's like 23% of the U.S. is that they self-categorize themselves as none, as in no religion at all. So, I mean, that's not atheist, but that's something. That's a step in the right direction. So I think the number is rising as time goes on. It's just going to take a while to get to that point is all.
The Instagram question was yes or no, so I feel like you should do that one.
It's not yes or no is the problem.
Okay.
No, I don't like Instagram really that much. For some weird reason, you'd think I would, but yeah, I'm just not a fan really.
All right.
So.
How about what's the worst religion?
The worst religion? All right.
I feel like he's a little biased here.
Yeah, actually, really, I would not say it's Jehovah's Witnesses. There are worse.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I would say Scientology is worse than Jehovah's Witnesses. For reasons. But I don't know what the worst one is because I don't know all of them, of course. But I would say Scientology is up there. And actually, soon I want to do a video on Christian scientists. That's a religion. It's not just scientists.
A religion? Seriously?
Yeah. They're all about. They don't want to go to the doctor. They don't want to go to the hospitals or anything. They think that God will take care of them. So they pray to be healed. They will not go to the doctor ever.
Oh, right. Jeez.
Yeah.
Which is up here. We've actually got a Christian Science library right outside one of the hospitals. Not affiliated with it, just happens to be one of their reading rooms in proximity to it.
Okay, It's a pretty decent one from your channel or your Discord, which is, do you ever feel lasting guilt from the things taught to you when you were a Jehovah's Witness? From Angel Dragon.
Lasting guilt. So I'm assuming what they mean by that question is, for example, does somebody feel guilty for, I don't know, doing something that was banned in the religion but is no longer banned? Yeah, I guess you could say sometimes I feel guilty for like not praying before a meal or something, and then I realize that that's just ridiculous. Things like that. But generally, I've pretty well pulled all of the guilt out of my life, so not too much.
Someone asks,
go ahead.
Do you think that anti-vaxxers are influenced by religion? That's I can't pronounce that name. I'm sorry.
Wow.
They're in the chat.
Impressive name.
Guidrius Vicious.
You gotta try. There we go.
Okay. I don't think so. It's possible that, I mean, everything has influence over everything pretty much in the world at this point, but I think it's mostly influenced by that one doctor who said something, who published this study that had no scientific basis to it, and he got his medical license revoked for publishing it. I mean, the guy did so much damage to the world, seriously. So many people died because of him. And it just took off from there. And it's a result of a general distrust in science. So you could probably link him that way.
Yeah, I don't think it started as a religion thing, but I think a lot of people do put it kind of like the Christian Scientists. I don't think they vaccinate their children.
Sure.
So I think it just evolved into a lot of the like religion. A lot more religion people are getting into it now. So
yeah, you're right.
So Reese C says, "What's your view on child indoctrination? Is it child abuse? How do we stop it?"
Interestingly enough, I actually talked about this the other night on Godless Cranium's podcast last night, and my views on it are I can't take anybody's rights away to say whatever they want to their kids. That is not fair. I can't do that. But there is a line that constitutes child abuse at a certain point. And we have to find that line. We have to clearly define it. Jehovah's Witnesses, what they do is child abuse. What Mormons do is child abuse. Scientologists, that's child abuse. So we need to find the line, clearly define it, and take away tax-exempt status or prosecute when that line is crossed.
Rose asks, what religion would you pick if you had to? I presume pick one.
Okay.
If you were given the choice not to be an atheist, I guess, and if you're
given the choice? You mean if you were forced not to?
Yeah, I'm saying if it was not a choice. That's correct.
Okay. That's fairly simple. I would say Buddhism because it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's really relaxed. I like all the things they say. They harm no living thing. It's more of a philosophy almost than a religion in some places. Don't get me wrong, it is a religion in many, but yeah, I would say Buddhism probably.
What's wrong with Satanism?
Yeah, what the fuck? Satanism. I would go say.
I used to study Buddhism for a long time before becoming an atheist.
It's pretty chill. Although really, I think that the philosophies behind Buddhism are probably a little bit more up my alley than the philosophies behind Satanism. But and if I were to choose a Satanist thing, it would be the Satanic Temple for sure, not LaVeyan or anything. Sorry, I just like the Satanic Temple better is all.
What are your thoughts on paganism / Wicca? This is from Newt. I don't think it's culty, but I wanted your thoughts.
They've been trying to get me roped into this.
They have on Discord.
I think you're going to make a video on it, aren't you?
I am. And here's the thing about making videos as opposed to a live stream. When I make a video, I take a couple of hours and read about it and research it and think on it and decide how I feel about their practices and things like that. On a live stream, I don't really have the luxury of examining their beliefs and practices critically. It's just kind of an off the cuff thing. So what I know of Wicca specifically, I would say it's generally fairly chilled out, but I fear that if it did have the power that Christianity does, then it would be a lot more aggressive than it is. I mean, I don't know that to be a fact, but they've been around for a very long time. And I do happen to know that there are some cult-like practices of theirs. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm probably sticking my foot in my mouth here, but they have covens, I think, don't they? They have covens.
Yeah.
Some of them do, yes.
Well, one of your friends was Wiccan.
Yeah, I have a lot of Wiccan friends and all kinds of stuff. So
from Discord.
Well, you should know about the covens, then, is my point.
Well, anyway, so
he's just trying really hard. Like, you can see he's trying so hard not to offend them.
When the time comes and I do make a video, I am not afraid of who I'm going to offend, but I'm afraid that I'm going to say something that is incorrect. That's what I'm afraid of. I don't want to say something that's incorrect and hurt someone's feelings over it,
Okay. So someone has asked you, what signs should I look for in a healthy non-cult church? Which is from Meow Meow, Mother Frivolocca.
Well, this is probably a little bit biased, but I would say you're going to want to look for whether or not their members are heavily invested. If their members are heavily invested in it, then they probably show some signs of a cult-like mentality. You want to see how they feel about people on the outside. And you want to see how they feel about people who have left, who are not just outsiders, just not ever been involved in it, but people who have who were involved in it and are no longer involved. Mm-hmm. So you want to see how they treat people like that. You want to listen to what they say and see if they preach this angry hellfire revenge kind of thing, right? Or if anything that they say sounds kind of strange, like they're talking about aliens or just odd stuff, because that happens.
No but stuff or God's going to send you to hell, right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Right.
Aww. If you used to believe that God is going to send you to hell, he will also do it if you stop believing it. That kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn if you do, damn if you don't.
And to shift tangent here a little bit, a lot of people are interested in your drawings. So Baggy Boy asks, what tablet do you use to draw with? And I presume he also means, what kind of program do you use in that?
Right. So I'll tell you my whole process. I use an iPad.
I use that lady right there.
Yeah, I use her. Now I also use an Apple Pencil. And I get Photoshop pulled up, and I make the background black, and then I just draw whatever I want to draw in Photoshop, and I screen record it while I do it. And after that, I save the screen recording, and I put it in Final Cut Pro, and then I cut the black out of it. I use white so that there's a huge contrast between black and white. And it's really easy to just pull the black out and keep the white, right?
Like a green screen.
Yeah, basically like that. So I pull the black out and keep the white. Yeah, that's how I do it. Then I put it on a blueprint background.
And super fast forward it.
Yeah, I move it forward 20 times faster than I drew it. It's actually extremely slow going, and I erase constantly. So I'm cutting out huge chunks of this drawing that I did because I'm just I'm erasing and redrawing. So it takes me hours and hours to draw, but I like to draw, so I don't mind.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10". Yeah.
What is your favorite Pokemon?
What's my favorite Pokemon?
Oh man,
Good one.
People want to know, man. I've seen it 3 or 4
The
times.
people need to know.
I think my favorite is probably Charmander. I know I'm gonna get a lot
So
of.
bland.
I know, but Squirtle is, I don't know, out of the, okay, I didn't play any of the other Pokemon games. I just played the first 3. I played Blue, Red, and Yellow. And so my starting Pokemon for the first 2 were Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle. And I don't know, I just like Charmander the best, really. I mean, he's the most powerful right out of the gate, it seems, anyway. His scratch does so much damage. So
I like Bulbasaur.
oh, you're one of those people. Okay.
Yeah, I'm one of those
Okay.
people.
Never invited back. I'm playing.
Oh no.
Grace Cruz asks, "What do you think is the weirdest Bible story?"
The weirdest Bible story. There are a lot of very strange ones.
There are an incredible amount of weird ones.
Sodom and Gomorrah, where the people wanted to rape a angel. That's the one
yeah.
that pops in my head a little bit.
I think where Satan tempts him in the desert for 40 days is pretty weird.
Yeah, Crate seems to think that the whole bear thing, you know, where the bears attacked the kids because they were making fun of the guy for being bald.
The she-bears.
The
Moses they made fun of, yeah.
That was pretty weird. But honestly, I think the weirdest one, honestly, is Noah's Ark. I think that is the weirdest story. This guy gets every animal on the planet together, 2 of the unclean and 7 of the clean, and puts them on a boat and sails off for a year. Really?
Yep.
I mean,
Not to mention, it would mean that every single animal in existence is just complete inbreeding because they came from 2.
Yeah, there's not enough genetic diversity.
yeah,
Everything would die off.
It's a ridiculous story. There's
Also, the trees.
no way to take it seriously. The trees, yeah, the trees would have died. They couldn't have survived underwater for a year. And also, what about the sea creatures? I mean, was it rain? I assume it's raining fresh water, but there's salt water. What about the saltwater creatures? They would not.
It was magic water, Telltale. That's how the first rainbow formed. There weren't rainbows before that, remember?
My mistake. You know, you can say it was magic all you want, and that's fine. But if it was magic in the first place, God could have just snapped his fingers and killed every human. That would have been the end of it. That's.
I will say Revelation is like a bad acid trip or something.
It is. Yeah. This is
Talking
very-
lamps and horsemen that come out of seals and yeah.
This is very true. It is an odd story. Okay.
Somebody else wants to know, Luca Wyland. The priest of my church said I'll become a demon if I don't visit church every week. Is it true? I put that out there as a preface
Yeah,
because
sorry, your fate is sealed. You're
Yeah.
one of
you
us
know there's a lot
now.
of people that
Come
think
to the dark side.
tell them that. Yeah.
Yeah. I became a demon about 5 years ago. It's not so bad, really. You get to live forever. You get to.
Well, shaving off the horns get tiring, but other than that.
Yeah, you got to shave your horns every day, right? Or they'll grow out of you.
But you do get wings.
You get wings. Yeah, you can fly. It's not so bad.
Baggy boy with an eye.
With an eye, that's important.
I know who that is. I talk to her on Twitter all the time.
Any good memories from JW?
Good memories.
Well, you were born. That was good, right?
That's not a memory, though.
You got your best friend?
Yeah, but all right. I had a best friend, but that wasn't. I mean, I didn't have a good memory with him in the Kingdom Hall. First of all, we would go out and skateboard a lot in my city, and that was pretty cool. We used to skate all the time, but that wasn't really a Jehovah's Witness memory.
Well, you met him via.
Yeah, I met him through them, I guess, but doesn't matter because I don't really talk to him anymore. So anyway, I would say no good memories. But if I had to pick a funny memory, I could pick a funny memory.
Oh God!
When I fell asleep at the Kingdom Hall, my dad would draw mustaches on all of us. That was, if we didn't want to get mustaches drawn on our faces, We didn't fall asleep. The elders talked to him about that later. He didn't do it again, but yeah. So.
Cherry Blossom asks thoughts on using the Socratic method with JWs, and then gives an example of my dad once asked a Jehovah's Witness who approached our door, how many Jehovah's Witnesses are there in the world? Then asked how many witnesses the Bible says are getting into heaven. I thought you might want to explain why that's not a good question.
Yeah, the reason that that's not so commonly religion, Christianity in the U.S. mostly believes that you get to go to heaven when you die, right? But Jehovah's Witnesses do not believe that you go to heaven when you die. They believe that 144,000 people go to heaven and everybody else lives on earth in a paradise, cleaning up the dead bodies that, you know, of the genocide that God perpetrated, but that's beside the point. So asking a Jehovah's Witness, you know, about the whole heaven thing, it doesn't really, I mean, nobody's really expecting to go to heaven. The Jehovah's Witnesses aren't. But okay, here's an interesting little thing. When Armageddon starts or takes place or whatever, the 144,000 anointed people who are allegedly going to heaven, they are immediately raptured and become angels and are given swords and told to go kill everybody who isn't Jehovah's Witness.
But I already have a sword.
Very metal.
Yeah, that's pretty metal. And so I've been thinking about this for a while, and I came up with a plan. And I mentioned this on Godless Cranium's thing, I think. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to line a bunker with Jehovah's Witnesses, right? Because they can't get in. I mean, the angels can't kill a Jehovah's Witness, so just line my bunker with Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm set. So I'll make it through Armageddon that way.
Most of them get to go to paradise, not heaven.
Yeah, most of them go to paradise. Now, as far as the Socratic method, I'm sure many of us have probably heard of Anthony Magnabosco and Cordial Curiosity. And they do what's called street epistemology, which is a lot like the Socratic method. And if you guys don't know who that is, you should definitely check that out. I mean, check those channels out. They're fantastic channels. It's completely changed the way I think about approaching a believer. So it's definitely worth your time to check that stuff out.
Someone wants to know for an essay they're writing, what are everyone in here's reasons for being an atheist? Lack of evidence is mine. Done.
Lack of evidence. Okay. Do you guys want to go? Do you guys have an opinion?
I mean, I think I told you my opinion of this earlier today, which was when I thought about it, there were a couple of options of believing because I found myself in a constant state of like pain and depression and hurt. And so I had to believe that either the almighty Lord that I followed didn't care about me or anyone else in the world who was hurting, or he didn't exist. So it was a choice between believing in a God that I thought was evil or not believing at all.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's either he's not all good or he's not all powerful, right? That's that argument. And it's a fair argument. I mean, I don't know any decent response to that, right? What about you, JR? Why are you?
Yeah, basically the same thing as the other one said there. It's basically just the lack of evidence. Like when I first started to become atheist, rather, like the first thing you do when you have a faith is, in some denominations, they'll tell you having a strong one means you're able to question it and come back to it. And eventually I just questioned it and didn't come back to it because of the lack of evidence for any god or gods or deities or greater powers or karma or forces that are somehow based on ethics and morals and that sort of thing. So eventually I just questioned it and didn't come back because that's, you know, what the religion told me to do in a way. That's
fair enough. What about you, Wolf?
Basically, kind of what someone said in the chat is how God not caring about the suffering. I have a family member who was in the hospital for the longest time, and down in the South, you pray about everything. So they'll come up to us like, "Can I pray over them?" And people are like, "Yeah." Right. And then he got progressively worse, and their excuse was, "Well, God has a plan." I was like,
Aw.
"What?" That's when I really started questioning. I'm like, "Okay, that's BS, pretty much." So yeah,
there's no divine plan, and saying that God has a plan is almost an insult, right?
yeah, it was. I was insulted. I was like, "What? That's like not the right thing to say."
I know.
So,
Okay, it's
that's our
Telltale, so-
rosary beads. No, these are Buddhist
Oh,
beads, by the
sorry.
way. It was a question. I'm sorry.
I've got a question from Jared, actually, which is, what does your logo mean to you, Telltale?
What does my logo mean to me? Okay. Okay, well, I'll tell you how I came up with the logo, actually. By the way, I have Alpha Force Zero
Yeah,
here.
the chat's already freaking
Yeah,
out.
you can
Yeah.
see her little cheeky smile. It's
I
adorable.
know, she's so good. You just want to squeeze them, right? Urgh. Anyway, what does the logo mean to me? Okay, here's how I came up with the logo. There's an atheist symbol or something like it, and it's basically just an A with a circle around it, right? Most of us have probably seen that. It's usually black, but I figured I wanted to do something like that, something similar. So I ended up kind of playing around with it a little bit until I finally came up with, turning the circle into DNA. That's how I came up with it. And I think it's fantastic. It took me probably 3 hours to draw the first time, and then I redrew a new one completely from scratch, and that one took like 8 hours to draw. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the logo.
All right. Tiberius Zamfirescu wants to know, what's the best religious text when looked at as a fantasy novel? So if they're all fantasy novels, which one's the best? I'd have to go with the Bhagavad Gita personally, but I'm curious to hear yours.
That's interesting. Do you guys have opinions on that?
I agree.
The
I'm
Bible.
going to go certainly not the Bible. It was 0 out of 10, not a great fantasy
So
read.
boring.
Yeah.
Revelation was the best as far as like.
Oh, I loved
horror movie.
Revelation. It was my favorite.
But it's
I
not the
would
whole
say,
book.
yeah, I would say Revelation is probably the best book inside the Bible. Do you have an
Also,
opinion
like
on
Song
that,
of
Wolf?
Solomon.
Like, which holy book do you think is the most fantasy like novel? Like, if you had to pick one that was basically like a fantasy novel, which book of the Bible or which holy book do you think?
I'll go with your answer. I haven't really read the Bible as much.
Right.
I was one of those Christians that went to church whenever it suited me, I guess, pretty much. I never read the Bible whatsoever, but I'm doing studies now for shows.
Ah, shit, dude. You don't have to like be shamed into reading the Bible.
Oh no, I'm not reading the
I think
Bible.
we're
God,
shamed
no.
into reading the thing.
No, I'm just looking up stuff on Google.
Right on. I got you. But anyway, yeah, Revelation is probably the best book in the Bible, I would say. Read like a fantasy novel. And yeah, I'll just stick with that. That's not too bad. All right.
Telltale, what animal would you be if you could choose?
What animal would I be if I could choose?
Actually, can we also pass that question on to Alpha Force Zero?
What animal would you be?
Wolf.
You'd be a wolf.
That's exactly what I just said.
Cool.
They wanted her to have a lumberjack hat, but I figured that's a better.
Why does she need a lumberjack hat?
Because
Because she's a lumberjack and she's
He's
okay.
gonna cut down those trees with that sword. What are you talking about?
Right.
Isn't that how
You
normal
cut 'em
people
down
do
with your
it?
fist. You just punch them.
It's a fat bird. I'm a big fan of it. Anyway.
So, Get in My Van wants to know, what's the weirdest thing that happened to you while being a JW? I presume it means as you're going door to door, proselytizing or whatever.
Okay, all right. I think I can do that. Although, FYI, I think my animal would be a panther. But
Panther.
yeah,
All
but
right, quick guys, get on that. Draw my fursona as a panther.
yes. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh God, I just
no,
got into the whole. All right. Anyway,
not with my.
right, persona. I forgot about that.
That's hashtag Panther Atheist.
Right. So, what was your question again, JR? I forgot.
What's the weirdest thing that happened to you while being a JW?
There was this one time, I've told this story actually a couple of times on my channel, but for those of you who haven't heard it, I was going door to door, and I was with the circuit overseer, which is like the pretty high up guy, you know, in the whole hierarchy. And we went to this door, and I'm like 10 years old, and these people released dogs on us. I just think that's so messed up. Release dogs on a 10-year-old kid and like a 60-year-old guy. And so that's one story. And there's another story. I actually went to the door one time and talked to an apostolic Pentecostal, and he was telling me about how he's a snake handler and he drinks poison and all of this other weird stuff. And dude is just, I don't know. And it's so funny to look back on that and think how weird that guy was when I was weirder in many ways, right? I don't know. It's just crazy. All right. The crowd's had enough of you. Well, they haven't had enough of you, but you know, I have to keep them interested. So go back upstairs. And yeah. Anyway.
So, Ban the Architect wants to know, I just ordered a drink from Starbucks and the barista thought my necklace was a cross instead of a Skyrim symbol. How do I stop this?
Very good question.
That's tough. Yeah, all those Skyrim fans out there thinking, people thinking they're religious. I don't know. Okay, I've got it. Here's what you do, okay? Wear the Skyrim necklace and also wear a shirt that says Jesus sucks. That would be my solution. Try that. It works every time.
On a similar note,
Telltale?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, yeah, go.
that's like asking, how do I make people think this Buddhist eagle knife is like not a Nazi knife?
Fair enough. Wear a shirt that says I hate Nazis when you hold it up.
So Telltale's answer to everything is a shirt.
Yes. Advertisement. That is my answer.
Okay.
Speaking of which, be sure to check out Telltale's merch shop.
Shameless
I don't,
plug.
you know, I need to get a Jesus sucks shirt on there.
And then you can buy an I'm gay shirt.
Right.
Part of the in-crowd.
Okay. So Ofire asks, any thoughts on hard determinism?
Hard determinism. Yeah, I don't accept hard determinism. For those of you who may not know what determinism is, and actually I may be getting this wrong too. Here.
He's very angry.
Go on.
Cat!
No! Oh, God. He clawed me and then ran. I don't know why you brought him to me. Anyway.
He was shy.
There you go. There's my cat. His name's Kashmir.
Well, that was adorable while it lasted.
My cat. Anyway, what was I? Oh, yeah, hard determinism. So hard determinism is the idea, and one of you may be able to correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think it's the idea that if we knew the placement of every molecule in the universe, then we would be able to predict the future, right? So it's like a clockwork universe, basically. The belief that it's clockwork like that. I don't think that it's, I think that the smaller processes are clockwork like that, but there is a level of randomness in the universe that just makes it absolutely unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen is the thing. So yeah, I would say I don't really accept hard determinism, and most people don't anyway, so.
Okie dokie. So Jack Bet asks you, what are your thoughts on the People's Temple cult?
People's Temple cult. This is a lot like Wicca in the sense that I don't want to talk about it without knowing more about it. So I'm just going to pass on it, but it is on the list. It's on my list of cults to cover, so you'll get to hear more about it from me.
Bananas Chew Gum asked, what are your thoughts on the community of atheist Jews?
The community of atheist what?
Jews.
Atheist Jews. Okay. Yeah, actually, you know, I have a buddy with whom I work that is atheist and Jewish. I think that generally the Jewish community is very secular, or has been very secular, at least in America, not everywhere by any stretch. But here in America, I know a lot of Jewish people just go to synagogue for the community, like for talking to people and socializing, which is fantastic. And I don't know, maybe they're going to influence the U.S. culture to go that direction a little bit more. So yeah, that would be great if we had more atheists in general, Jewish or not. I would be happy with that.
Okay, here's a really interesting one from BFD Tea. And they asked you, will there ever be a chance that a movement to exist that fills the place of religion, but is not at all harmful to members and onlookers? Like whether or not you think that would or could exist.
Interesting. Okay, so will there ever be a movement that fills the place of religion, but is not harmful? Yeah. I don't think that all religion is harmful. For example, I would say that most, or at least some, Methodist churches are a lot more relaxed than other churches. Like Methodists don't usually cause problems with anybody. They don't usually hate anybody. I mean, they're out there, but okay. They're out there, but yeah, Methodists, I don't think that any kind of organization is going to replace religion. I think that the best we can hope for is either no religion or a less harmful religion. And Methodists, I think, are our best bet at that right now. So who knows?
Hey, Joey Bear just apparently donated 20 Canadian to you and wants to know, have you heard the difference between Oneness Pentecostals versus Trinitarian Pentecostals? Oneness are usually crazier. Also, have a good day.
Woo! Thanks. I appreciate that, man. You got to hear my voice go up 2 octaves just now. Okay, let me reread this and think about it. Just wondering, have you heard the difference between Oneness Pentecostals versus Trinitarian Pentecostals? No, I haven't, but I know that there are a lot of differences between different types of Pentecostals. And maybe me making a video about all Pentecostals was a little bit, it was probably grouping people into a category that didn't deserve to be grouped into it. But yeah, generally, I would like to do a little bit more research on Pentecostals and how they differ and the different branches of Pentecostalism and apostolics and all that stuff. So there's the answer.
All right. So Mita has asked your opinion on religions that aren't theistic.
Religions that aren't theistic. Okay, I'm trying to think about some examples of that. I would say Heaven's Gate, the cult Heaven's Gate. I don't think that was theistic, really. Scientology isn't really theistic.
The thing Jim Jones did wasn't really. Was that Heaven's Gate, though? Heaven's Gate was different, wasn't it?
Yeah, Heaven's Gate was different, but Jim Jones, you're talking about Jonestown, right?
Right.
That was actually a branch of Baptist, I think.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh no, Telltale, they've just noticed the math on the board behind you. What does it mean?
I said you just do it for funsies.
No. All right, so I smoke an e-cigarette, right?
Mm.
And what I do is I take a 6 milligram liquid and a 0 milligram liquid, and I mix them together to get 3 milligrams. And I have to know exactly how much of the 0 to put in the 3 or the 6 to get 3 milligrams. That is what that math is. It's me calculating.
Mm-hmm.
Because he couldn't just do half and half like a normal person.
No, because
that wouldn't be 3.
That's right. Because actually,
math.
The reason it wasn't actually 3 I was using. What was I doing? Okay, so I had, I think I had 24 milliliters. Oh, all right, anyway, never mind. Yeah, okay. I had 30 milliliters of 24 milligram. And then under that is the 30 milliliter, and the X is me trying to figure it out. Anyway, that's what that math is. So
how many milliliters of the 0 he needed?
I do like doing math, though. Big fan.
All right, Telltale. Lark Laporte wants to know, when did you get into art?
I
was
gonna ask that. Jeez.
Oh,
I know, stepping on toes.
Sniping.
I've been into art for since I was probably 10. I got a little sketch pad, and when I was Jehovah's Witness, there was this elder who, all right, check this out. This elder, sold his last painting for $100,000.
Oh,
and
wow.
When he was an up-and-coming famous artist. And when he heard about Jehovah's Witnesses, he dropped everything because he felt like God didn't want him to be rich. So he started a business cleaning offices with his wife. And they just go from office to office cleaning them and just making enough money to pay the rent, and that's it. And so he has refused to do any art of any kind since that day, since he joined. And so anyway, when I was probably 10, I talked to him about it, and he was telling me that every now and then he sketches. He likes sketching sometimes, but he doesn't want to do something that pulls him in and takes over his life, you know. So he taught me a little bit, actually. He taught me a little bit about sketching, about implied lines and things like that. And that's really where I got my start with art. And I've kind of been doing it in my free time ever since.
All right, Evan has asked you, what's your opinion on the concept of religion?
What's my opinion on the concept of religion? Okay. Before I answer that, I do want to give Evan a shout out. Evan was the person who started the Discord. I wouldn't have Discord without Evan, and I appreciate that very much. And he's
Thank you, Evan.
Yes, thank you, Evan. And he's been helping me moderate it. Jared has taken over with setting up the configurations and everything. I can't thank all of them enough because I just don't have the time in my life to do that. And
Rude.
What? Okay. Oh yeah, and Crate helped.
Oh yeah, and she helped, you know.
Anyway, I appreciate all that they helped me with. Really, I do. So, yeah, I don't want to leave anybody out, but Yuri and Kika and a whole bunch of people have been very helpful. So, anyway, what was this question again? I missed it.
What is your opinion on the concept itself of religion?
What is my opinion on the concept of religion? It's a hard question. I think that humans are just not evolved enough yet to be able to move past religion. I think that it's just going to take a little bit more time before we move past it. I mean, we can kind of look at our history and see how it started. You know, somebody walks into a cave, claims they're talking to somebody who rules over everybody, and that person who they're talking to makes all of the rules. They come out of the cave and they pass those rules down. It's a really easy way to keep control of a population. So I can understand why it formed, but we really need to move past it at this point.
Got another super chat.
Oh,
Yeah.
Miss Perky.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Says, just wanted to send some love.
Well, thanks for coming.
Smiley
That's
face.
awesome. Yeah. I actually asked her to come, so thanks for being here. She's the one that has the tattoo of my logo.
Oh, cool.
I don't think that she got it because of me. I can't, in all honesty, let that go without saying that. I think she had it, but yeah, that's her.
Baggy Boy wants to know, what's your favorite part of making a video?
Hang on, guys. I have somebody interrupting me, trying to give me another.
She brought the cat.
Oh, God, this cat. All right,
You should have just let her have him.
go upstairs for a little bit, okay? For a couple of minutes, or sit on my
I just
lap.
wanted to bring
You
you
wanna
a
sit on my lap?
cat.
Okay. Yeah, and it scratched me.
Oh yeah, and that's her fault.
He was fine when she was holding him.
He doesn't like me.
It's just something about you, Telltale.
It's because he yells at him all the time.
Well, I don't yell at him. I pet him before I go to sleep.
Once a day. You get one pet a day.
Hey,
Yeah,
so do
that's
I. I pet him all day, basically every day.
That is not true. You do not
Yeah,
pet him all day,
basically.
every day.
Basically,
No, I agree with that. Basically, all day, every day, 100%. I'm with you.
Okay.
Okay. Would you consider getting married / dating again and having more children?
Yes,
Yeah, just ask that right in front of the kid.
I would be. Yeah, I would definitely definitely date again. I don't know if I would get married again. If the person was important enough, then yeah, I would. Would I have more kids? Huh?
Oh, yeah, go.
As far as kids go, maybe. Probably not, but maybe. I mean, I could be convinced, but on my own, no, I'm good. So there's your answer.
No
Did
magic.
you ask Alpha Force Zero if she would want any brothers or sisters?
He has a sister.
She does. She has a
Yeah.
half sister. She has a half sister.
half-sister.
Yes.
She's mine.
Not mine, but hers, yeah.
And we fight a lot, so no.
She's
No,
good.
You like having your dad's attention all to yourself?
Yep.
Mhm.
And all of my money for Christmas too. She likes having all the Christmas money. Go on upstairs.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
the best dad.
Anyway, so yeah, next question. Anybody else?
Okay. AliExpress asked, is there a possibility that you would ever do other videos that aren't part of your normal theme of cults, like the Ghazi video?
There is basically no chance that I'm going to do more social justice stuff. And the reason, okay, let me tell you this. When you divert from your regular YouTube videos, when you do something that is not usual to your style or something, what happens is some of your subscribers are going to like it, some are going to hate it, and you're going to pick up new ones, right? That's how YouTube works. The problem is that when some of your subscribers skip one of your videos, when they don't watch that video, YouTube thinks they've lost interest and they stop suggesting new ones to them. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to go off onto a new subject, your best bet is to just create a brand new channel and talk about it on that. Just don't dilute a good, strong, single topic channel with new topics. As far as social justice stuff goes, no, I'm not covering that stuff anymore. I feel like the atheist community was...
Has it covered?
They were heavily diverted a couple of years ago into that topic, and now we don't have enough atheists talking about atheism. So, yeah, they can handle it. There are other channels out there that'll talk about it. I'm sticking to atheism. And
so what you're trying to do is we're trying to convert everyone to atheist. Is that the intention here?
That is my goal. I want everybody to be an atheist just like me so they can pay their atheist dues.
You're going to indoctrinate them into atheism?
Yep. I'm going to indoctrinate them and they'll all be devout atheists. Yep.
Is there gay conversion or just disfellowshipping if a Jehovah's Witness comes out?
Just disfellowshipping. There's no conversion. They will, this is the saddest thing about it. There's this woman I knew, and she was like a way older woman, and her son lived in California and was disfellowshipped, and that's all we knew about him. Well, he ends up coming back to my state, to my congregation, to live with his mom because she was dying. And the guy was flamboyantly gay. I mean, you could tell he just screamed it from the rooftops. And it was so sad that he was bottling this up and hiding it, I mean, he had bleach blonde hair and he had a lisp and he was a hairdresser and just the whole 9 yards. Like, you can't get more flamboyant than that. And it's just so sad to me that he had to hide it from everybody.
Stereotypical.
Yeah, he's very stereotypical. But it was sad he had to hide it. And so he ends up getting reinstated as a Jehovah's Witness and never had a wife after that, never had a girlfriend, never had a boyfriend, never had any kind of relationship for the rest of his life. I mean, how many decades? Because he wasn't allowed to. It was so sad. So.
All right. Canort1104 just asked, Telltale, did you ever have a fear of hell?
No, I didn't.
Jehovah's Witnesses don't have hell.
Yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses don't have hell, which is interesting because a lot of the modern views of hell, you can find them depicted in I think it's a short story called Dante's Inferno. Mm-hmm. And it's a very interesting story, but it talks about like the 7 layers of hell and all of this other stuff. But you don't find any of these descriptions like that in the Bible. And so Jehovah's Witnesses kind of wanted to get down to like, what does the Bible actually say about it? And there is a verse in the Bible that says, hang on, I want to get this right. It says, the living are conscious that they will die, but the dead, they are conscious of nothing at all. And that is why Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in hell. They think when you die, you just die, because the Bible does outright say that. I mean, I don't know. So
in turn, then, what about all the Jehovah's Witnesses that have died? Like, are they going to be put back into like heaven in the 100 and however many, or they're just dead? They're gone. They don't get their chance for paradise.
Let me answer. They are resurrected.
Okay.
Also, you got another super chat. Nora the Yandere.
Oh, Nora.
When you do the pagan video, are you going to ask your pagan subs and patrons
Stop calling them pagans.
And you're never going to convert me, Telly.
Oh, I'm never going to convert you. Okay. Well, we'll just have to see about that. I may, but what I've found is that the easiest way for me to do research is to kind of find a list of topics that I want to talk about. For example, with the Christmas video, I want to look into like Christmas trees, Santa, stockings, presents. Where did those 4 things come from? What is their origin? Oh my God, great. What? Did she just type something stupid?
Oh, don't look at the chat.
Oh. Anyway, I look for a certain number of topics and then I just research them a whole bunch. So I don't know how easy it would be to ask somebody questions about it, like a pagan. But I probably will end up asking questions of pagans. Most of my research will most likely be done online rather than asking somebody personally. So
it's probably pretty easy to ask someone questions. It's like opening your mouth.
That's true, except you can't really depend on the answers necessarily.
That's true.
It's
the same with the internet. Not everything you find is going to be relevant.
But you got to get reliable sources.
Well, the other thing is you'll get people like, if you were asking Catholics, for example, about Christianity, some Catholics will tell you that the other denominations that don't believe the same things as them are not Christian when they are. And I've noticed that when you're looking at any religion, the pagans, for example, some of them hex and some of them don't. And some pagans say there's no true pagan if the pagan hex.
Pagans.
And some Christians say that if you don't believe in the Trinity, you're not Christian. It's the same kind of dual reality there. It's a no true Scotsman fallacy.
The pagan.
When you pull the information from a source like that is all.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I can agree with that. So, so I may end up asking pagans overarching questions about various things, but I will get my real research done through Google, really.
Someone asked, Telltale, I'm gay and I've heard a lot about conversion therapy. What's your opinion on it?
I think it is poison, and I don't know how this country or this world can possibly still endorse it and fall asleep at night. It's a fucked up thing that we really need to get rid of. That's how I feel about it. It's very depressing to know that there are people out there who are really going through this right now and really hate themselves for who they are. It's so sad. So anyway.
All right. So Connor asked you another question, which is, have you ever heard of the cosmic skeptic? Because he's been blowing up recently. Yeah. I have heard of him. I don't know. I don't want to talk about like if we've talked or any of that stuff. We haven't really talked, but a lot of we share a common friend base. So Godless Cranium and Lloyd Evans and
you know, all of those other people know him and I know them. So if I feel the need eventually, I'm probably going to contact him and see if maybe he'll come on my channel or maybe I'll go on his or something. I mean, we're all in the same group. So yeah, I know him.
Cherry Blossom wants to know, has your daughter had any difficulties with other children because she isn't being raised with religious beliefs anymore?
She is being raised with, well, she's being raised with religious culture, not necessarily beliefs.
And options.
She goes to a Methodist church, and she is part of that whole group. She's in their plays, and she helps them clean after church, and she goes to the church every Wednesday night. I wanted that because I don't want her to be excessively different, but she does, on the other hand, know that, you know, I don't believe it. And she is too young to decide for herself right now if she believes it or not. She says she doesn't, but I still send her to church anyways. So
it's better to teach them everything than try to withhold certain things. Because, I mean, that's just another form of indoctrination, like shielding them from information. It's better to give them as much knowledge as is possible.
As many true facts as you can give them. That doesn't mean, you know, sharing the, like, that doesn't mean in the science classroom saying, oh, there's a debate, so we got to cover creationism and evolution. That is, we want to give them facts, okay? That is number one. Now, I can give her facts about other religions. And essentially, that's what I'm doing by sending her to a super moderate, relaxed church. But anyway, yeah, we've got 3 minutes. So one of you can go next. Who wants to fight to the death for
3 minutes?
Yeah.
Wait, fighting to the death?
Your game?
I mean, hey, I'm...
We were, but we can actually go over. I'm totally cool with that. But is Bran...
I don't know. I'll send him a message to see if he's still coming on.
What even is a waifu?
In the meantime, I've got a great question for you.
Okay.
Yuri has just asked you who the best waifu is.
Okay. For those of you who don't know this joke, I didn't know what a waifu was, okay? I was pronouncing it waifu.
Waifu.
In the Discord, I asked, what is a waifu? I want one. And I've been getting no end of shit for that. I've also asked what a few other things are, like what is a cosplay? I want one, for example. I never do get the things I want, though, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm gonna default to me as the best waifu. I am the best waifu.
I agree.
I'm the best senpai, so.
You heard it here first. Telltale is the best waifu.
Oh, someone beat you to that. Someone beat you to that in the chat. They said Telltale is best waifu.
Yep, that's right.
The piggy.
Oh, Clover Nicole says Monica. Hey, Monica.
Oh no. Hey, Monica.
Okay.
We are down to the last few minutes here.
Yeah, you
I'm
guys.
going to be shooting off here soon because I have to go to the Superb Owl party.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are going to the Superb Owl.
I honestly thought that was a typo when you were talking about that earlier.
No, it is the Superb
No,
Owl. It trends on Twitter and everything.
That was a joke. Superb Owl.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I actually heard that first on the channel It's Okay to Be Smart, and I've been using
Okay,
it.
Yuri feels betrayed that you didn't say Yuri is the best waifu.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Yuri's the second best waifu. There you go.
All right, you kids have fun. I'm
All right.
clicking
Later,
off.
man. Thanks for coming.
See you later.
All right. Well, I'm actually thinking that I am going to wrap it up, but I'll tell you what, man. Geek Room, Wolf, actually, is your name. No,
Yeah.
Your name is not Geek, last name Room. So let me get Your name is Wolf. No,
My mom hated me so.
Yeah, your mom hated you.
His name is Wolf, last name Geek Room.
There you go. One word. Anyway, I was going to say, man, it looks like we're running out of time, so we won't be able to play the game. But if you want to come on again, we can.
Yeah, no problem.
People on.
We chose a weird day. Like, I didn't even know Super Bowl was this weekend until...
I also forgot.
I would not say that. People are going to hate you for not liking
I like hockey. if it helps.
Okay.
I got hockey jerseys, but yeah.
I hear you. Well, no problem, man. We can do it another day. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we'll get you on again. Thanks to Infinity's Bane for coming on, and thanks to Crate for just walking over to my house. All right, guys.
No.
All right, bye.
No.